Hi, everybody. It is Black Spring with Autumn, and hope you guys are off to a great, happy Independence Day weekend. And I just have a few things for you. I have a little bit of some clips and some audio, and just a couple of "Have you seen this?" tips. So I'll be right back with you. Hi guys, it is Black Spring on your July 4th, your Independence Day. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for coming in, and hello to Old School Wolf Media. How are you? And I just have a few things for you today, but it's going to be a little bit less. I'll do less talking and more clips, more audio for you on today. So I'm just going to do a couple of thanks to our patrons, subscribers, and viewers like yourself, and I will be right back. Are doing well on your Sunday. It doesn't have exactly a Sunday appeal, but I guess it's you have to have Sunday. You always have to have Sunday or Monday somewhere. So happy Sunday. All right. Hello to Old School Wolf Media again, and Zero the Infinite. Thank you so much for coming in. And this is, I did entitle this Reload. So this might give you a little bit of idea of what I'm on about. I think you'll be entertained. And so we'll get started. All right, guys. So I will tell you, I'll give you the points of this stream on Black Spring with Autumn. And so it looks like, we've had quite a few things coming out. Of course, prior to the holiday. But today I kind of want to get into a little bit on, does the term digital responders ring a bell to you guys? We have these safety restraints, these digital restraints coming from a global coalition. And I'm going to give you that imagery. And that's actually going to come out of our friends from the We Forum and what they're saying about harmful content, that kind of a bit. So what I could do, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to show you. We'll start with the have you seen this first. So and we'll go over that, and then I'll take you over to the section on the We Forum that, to me, that gives me some insight as to where this is coming from, or at least we'll try to connect some dots there. So I hope you guys are doing well out there. Backyard Politics is here. How are you? Thanks so much for coming in. So let's start first with the have you seen this? It's kind of a little, I guess it's a little bit of an icebreaker, I guess. So we'll just break the ice here. All right. So let me make sure I get you. I'll get you this one first. I'll make sure I have the right one. All right. So if you can see this, I'm going to give you guys full screen, so not to worry. So what we have here is a little bit of what I'm calling, have you seen this? And so if you're looking at your screen, you can see this is coming from the IG, and I have blocked out the person's account because that's just me. That's me doing a courtesy to the person that I'm actually following. And so according to this, are you sure you want to follow? Splat. This account has posted false or misleading information multiple times. So there you go. You got a little bit of that surveillance going on. You got your little rails up there. So I'm going to take you to the next one. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen this on IG, or if any one of your friends or if somebody else that if you haven't encountered something like this. And then I'll take you to the next one. All right, so here's another one from Facebook. And it says, Sean, you may have been exposed to harmful extremist content recently. Violent groups try to manipulate your anger and disappointment. You can take action now to protect yourself and others. And you have an information graphic here that says, get support from experts. Spot the signs, understand the dangers of extremism, and hear from people who escaped violent groups. So there you go. They're pulling out all the stops. So I don't know if you've seen that or not, but I just thought, hey, why not? It's not too much of a downer, I guess. But if you haven't seen it, maybe you will. But I heard about it, but then I had already seen it. So yeah, so let me get you guys. I'll come out of that for just a second. And Backyard Politics says that's crazy. And he also follows it up with a 1934 Germany. All right. Thank you so much, Backyard Politics, for coming in and for giving us that historical connection there. I really appreciate it. So from there, I'm going to try to connect some dots for you. And we're going to go over to what I've heard of has been called the Party of Davos. So we're going to go over there and see where are these things, coming from. So we'll see. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I'm going to come out of that. And all right, so I'm going to share the screen with you. I'm going to take you over. We're going to just go into that section and try to connect some dots for you there. So I'm going to share the screen on this next one. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Hope you're having at least a peaceful time. It just seems that we've been kind of, jinxed or something. A little bit. It's a little bit of different vibe going on. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just saying, just a little bit of my own reflection here. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is take you to the We Need global framework to regulate harmful online content. So this particular piece actually is leading. With children on the front. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a little bit of context, and then I'll let you hear from one of their powers that be, and then we'll get into their entire little piece on the extremism and the terrorism. So we'll see what AI does to me on this one. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and for throwing a little bit of caution to the wind with me. All right, so what you see before you, and it gets better, it gets better. You don't have to hear me or see my face the whole time. This article is coming from our friends at the WE Forum. That's the World Economic Forum. It says why we need a global framework to regulate harm online. As you can see, we have a young child here. And where it says, it gives you a stat here. I'm not sure where that comes from. It says the image comes from Unsplash. I know where I'm familiar with Unsplash, but however, 1 in 3 children are exposed to sexual content online. Okay, so according to this, digital platforms used by billions of people around the world are being misused to cause harm and endanger people. Second point is urgent areas of concern include child exploitation, highlight fundamental deficiencies in the current digital media ecosystem. And this is what we're going to be looking at specifically, spending more time. A new report by the World Economic Forum examines these issues and how we can address them to improve online safety. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to keep going here, and then you'll get the video graphic and get some word from the horse's mouth, if you will. According to this, the pandemic highlighted the importance of online safety as many aspects of our lives, including work, education, and entertainment, became fully virtual. With more than 4.7 billion internet users globally, decisions about what content people should be able to create, see, and share online had and continues to have significant implications for people across the world. A new report by the World Economic Forum, Advancing Digital Safety, a framework to align global action, explores the fundamental issues that needs to be addressed. Okay, so here you are with your 3 points here. I presume they're going to try to address these. How should the safety of the digital platforms be assessed? 2, what is the responsibility of the private and public sectors in governing safety online? And 3, how can industry-wide progress be measured? All right, so we're coming up on a graphic or a video from a source here, and she'll tell you what I'm on about. While many parts of the world are now moving along a recovery path out of the COVID-19 pandemic, some major barriers remain to emerge from this crisis with safer societies online and offline. By analyzing the following 3 urgent areas of harm, we can start to better understand the interaction between goals of privacy, free expression, innovation, profitability, responsibility, and safety. So here we are, and this is Julie Inman Grant. Now her source, she's representing Australian E-Safety Commissioner. And that's why I was trying to jog your guys' memory when we talked about digital first responders, that was something that came out, that materialized from the UN. So I won't talk anymore, and I'll let you hear from her. Hope you guys are doing well, and thanks so much for tuning in. Oops. Sorry for the delay there. A little buffering going on here. Hopefully she'll get going any minute now. Maybe I should just hang on. Let me recycle something here, see what happens. Okay, we'll see.
It's important to point out that we're not policing the internet for harmful material, that we actually rely on citizens to collect evidence to report to the platform first, and then report to us if seriously harmful content isn't taken down. So we were really set up as a safety net when some of this falls through the cracks. We're not seeking to become the content moderators ourselves. We believe that the platforms build the digital roads. They also need to erect the digital guardrails and the safety guardrails and be, applying the virtual seatbelts.
All right, so you have just a little bit of perspective right there. And this is, that's an e-safety representative out of Australia. Okay, but as you can see, this is a global this is a global effort, at least, you would think, okay, we're taking directives, or we're taking regulations from the global standpoint. So we're going to actually skip over a little bit of the health misinformation, but what I want to get to is what I started with, is actually these examples, the have you seen this section. Have you seen this section that I started with. So we'll just jump right down to the violent extremism and terrorism. So here we go. I might have to do a little bit of code speak on this, but covert language. Okay, the pandemic exposed deep-seated social and political divides, which reached a breaking point in 2021, as seen in acts of terrorism, violence, and extremism globally. In the U.S., that infamous date. You guys know it starts with January and ends with number 6. Capitol insurrection. It led to a deeper look at how groups like the 17th letter of the alphabet, Anon, were able to organize online, and necessitated a better understanding of the relationship between social platforms and extremist activity. Unfortunately, this is not a new problem. A report by the New Zealand Royal Commission highlighted the role of YouTube in the radicalization of the terrorist who killed 51 people during Friday prayers at 2 mosques in Christchurch in 2019. Footage of this attack was also streamed on Facebook Live, and in the 24 hours after the attack, the company scrambled to remove 1.5 million videos containing this footage. Okay, sorry about that. The role of the smaller platforms is also highlighted in the report, citing the terrorist engagement with content promoting extreme right-wing and ethno-nationalist views on sites like, I'm not sure, with 4chan or an 8chan. Some call for a larger governmental role in addressing this issue, whilst others highlight the risk of governments abusing the expanded power. Legislation requiring companies to respond to content takedown requests adds complexity to the shared responsibility between the public and private sectors. When legislation such as Germany's Network Enforcement Act, NetzDG, demands quicker action by the private sector, potential issues of accuracy and overreach arise, even if speed may be beneficial given the often immediate impact of harmful content. Regardless of whether future decisions related to harmful content are determined more by the public or private sector, the underlying concentration of power requires checks and balances to ensure that human rights are upheld in the process and enacting any new legislation. So, what do these seemingly disparate problems have in common? When it comes to addressing digital safety, they all point to deficiencies in how the current digital media ecosystem functions in 3 key areas. Okay, so here they give you a breakdown on the 3 areas. And of course, I could go through all of those, but I'm going to jump down here to the new framework and path forward. So that kind of gives you an idea. You guys can read all of that. You can read all the stats that they're using. They're using Amazon and some other, measurements there, systems to measure what they're on about. But the new framework and path forward is what I'm on about. In collaboration with over 50 experts across government, civil society, academia, and business, the World Economic Forum has developed a user-centric framework outlined in the new report with minimum harm thresholds, auditable recommendation systems, appropriate use of personal details, and adequate complaint protocols to create a safety baseline for use of digital products and services. While this is a starting point to guide better governance of decisions on digital platforms impacting user safety, more deliberate coordination between the public and private sector is needed. Today, the launch of the newly formed Global Coalition for Digital Safety aims to accomplish this very goal. Learn more about the coalition and ways to engage with this work here. So if you guys want to dig into that, or either you might even get the beat on what's going on at your own, maybe, some place that you're familiar with. Maybe you've seen some policy in your own workplace that's, a little different or you don't really agree with. You can dig more into that on your own. Thank you guys so much for coming in. And it looks like John H. Roberts Jr. is here. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I really appreciate you guys. What I'll do is, of course, I'll just give you that link in case you want to go into that any further. I was trying not to be too much of a downer on this day. Okay, so there you go. So there you have, your full article there, your full context for that piece. But yeah, maybe you should be on the lookout for all these dangerous, your dangerous friends, or if you've been, exposed. So yeah, so it's kind of a safety sector buzz. Looks like they're creating, and of course, their committees, their very own committees that are going to be used. Their experts, their studies, and I'm sure that's going to be on the docket, or it's going to be on curriculum even in the colleges this fall. So however, all right, so we're going to move on to some other points. So what I'm going to do is it looks like I ran into a family, not literally, but I ran into a family that has their own philosophy and their own position on the CRT. And I'm going to play that for you right after this break. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So I'm going to go ahead and take you to the next clip that we have. And I think we have some interesting clips here today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. So we'll jump over to the CRT, and you will find out what the source of this presentation. It's going to come from another school board meeting. These are concerned parents that are speaking out. Actually, they're speaking out against Black Lives Matter at a school board meeting. So this is a little different, but I thought, it was relative. So we'll go with that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And I guess if you need more audio, then let me know, and I will try to make an adjustment for you. A little bit laggy per usual, but I'll give you the full screen on this. Hope you guys are doing well today. Thank you so much for coming in at the 11th hour. Hi, Nick Smith. How are you? Okay, so here we go. Thank you, guys.
Third, my lovely wife, Keisha. And we're here today to represent the millions of Black Americans who disagree with the Black Lives Matter movement. I always ask people, have you ever been to the Black Lives Matter website? Most people say no. Let me show you 3 things that I saw on there that goes against my Christian viewpoints and do not this agenda, this indoctrination pushed on my 4 children. What I saw was, if you go to Black Lives Matter website, it says that they support sexual perversion, which they, in their own words, we foster a queer affirming network. This is America. You can be who you want to be. You can love who you want to love. But that indoctrination, that teaching should not be forced on everyone. It also says that we disrupt the nuclear family. That's my wife. This is our 4 children. Why would you disrupt the nuclear family? In most Black communities, the father is not there. That's why we're seeing so many issues and so many problems. Why disrupt that? Another thing you'll see is that they say we engage comrades. They, in their own words, their leader said they are trained Marxists. Trained Marxists. I'm an American. I believe in American exceptionalism. I believe America is the best country ever. Another thing I want to point out, bring this up here. In our neighborhood, everyone can put up their signs and it says, we believe in this house. I want to give you what we're going to put in our neighborhood. We believe God created man and woman. Love is sacrificial. God created science. Not a few or some, but all lives matter. An unborn life is still a life. Helping the immigrant. Judging character, not skin color, respecting the law and the flag. We're also going to put this one up. In this house, we believe biology is real. All lives matter. Crime is illegal. Jesus is life. God is love. Unborn babies are humans, right? Truth is everything. Lastly, I want to say this indoctrination, 30 seconds, it can get to the point where what happened in Dallas back in 2016, I'm going to read what it says here as far as the report. It says the suspect, who was a sniper, he killed 5 officers. He said here he was upset about Black lives. He said that he was upset that recent police shootings was upset about white people. He wanted to kill white, especially white officers. This is poisonous. This is toxic. We cannot allow this to continue. I know it's going on in mainstream media. I know it's in the sports, but there's millions who disagree. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, speaker number 3.
You know what? If I had like $1 every time I was muted out, but yes. So that clip that you had there was actually from a school board meeting, and it's actually nice to hear from other people. Thank you so much for that, old school media. I really appreciate it. So if you guys can hear me now, just give me a 1. It could be a little bit laggy, but I was muted. So thank you so much. And what I'm going to do is this next piece that I want to show is actually going to feature Judge Joe Brown. Has been on quite a few channels, and I think it's quite humbling that he's actually willing to appear on us little people's on the smaller content creators on our channels or whatnot. So, and this one is on the same kind of, no, this one is actually on something called, I think this is the Black News Network. Probably not. Maybe I got that wrong, but you'll see. And he actually gave a response to the release of Bill Cosby, but I thought there was another relevant point there. So I won't have you watch the entire thing, but at least start it back far enough so that you can get some context as to me, a little bit of the debate. And I won't tell you what I think about the overall debate until after it's done. So we'll go to that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to take you there, and then that's going to round us out for your July 4th Sunday. All right, guys. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, and for those of you that were able to hit the like button, but you still have an opportunity if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to go right now, take you right now. Okay, so I'm actually going to start this back a little bit because it gets a little bit. I don't think Lamont Hill is not the most. He's not really, to me, not framing this up very well at all. But I won't tell anything else. I'll just go back a little bit so that you can kind of get a little bit of the gist of what he's saying here. And because Judge Joe Brown can be a little bit, I think he could be a little bit raw. But I'll go ahead and put this back. And but yeah, I'll put this back. So I'll give you the full screen on that. All right. But this is kind of it's more of a societal kind of point that he was making here. So I'll let you see that. All right. Thanks, guys.
That everyone deserves the right to due process, and no one should be sitting in prison or jail for something that they either didn't do, or if their rights are violated, or both. But you've also raised this interesting question that I think is worth unpacking a bit, and that's about ethics and morality within the Black community and holding each other accountable and talking about manhood and masculinity. If we, again, assuming Bill Cosby doesn't take the legal stuff off the table, if we look at the depositions, the very thing that got him ultimately, the thing that ultimately got him locked up, and those depositions, and he's talking about the various women he had sex with giving them alcohol and pills, whether it's Quaaludes or Benadryl. If you look at the dozens of women who forward and accuse him, is there room to say, look, Bill Cosby can come home because the prosecutor was wrong, but Bill Cosby also has to be accountable for what he represents and for acts of and for predator-like behavior?
What about
Say that
these
again?
women being accountable for their own behavior? They were groupies.
Well,
You know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, sex, drugs, rap, sex, drugs, baseball, football, basketball, movies, television. See,
yeah,
it's
but
called
right
being
now
a
I'm talking about Bill
groupie.
Cosby. I'm saying
We forgot what that term meant. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. The bimbos come to the party,
Yeah.
they hang out, they get drunk, they snort lines of blow, and they have a good time.
I'm actually going to move this up just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm sorry.
Elevator down with you, put you in the cab, paid your fare, tipped the man, and sent you home because you were high. So what did he do
so
to
so
you?
in one deposition, so Judge, in one deposition specifically, when he was asked the question, was he sure that the woman was sober enough to consent? He said, "I don't know." But there's a bigger question here: is if someone willingly takes pills and becomes high and drunk, can they legally consent?
Sometimes you can. Used to be you could. They had a change in there back 25 years ago when they were saying, no, you can't. But before that, basically, you could. That's why they told
Right.
you,
So, but we're talking
stay
about the law.
sober.
So then, Judge, again,
See,
since you're
the
saying we should appeal to the
standard used to
law,
be
if the
it
law
was
says that you can't
involuntary
be,
intoxication, where you did something to them they didn't consent to. See, that's when
right?
that law started changing from you got yourself drunk, you're responsible to know the bartender's responsible because he lets you get drunk. That's when that
Judge,
change started coming
Bill
about.
Cosby's admitting, Bill Cosby's admitting to giving women alcohol and pills for the purpose of having sex. And if by the law
Most
you can't
women I know
consent if
go
you're
drink
drunk
a glass of wine
or
when you
high,
go out to dinner or you have a party or something. So
yeah,
does
but
that
that's
make
not the same.
them
That's
taken
irrelevant,
advantage
Judge.
of because they do something they would have done anyway? A whole lot of them I knew
Yes,
back in the years would
that's
take
sexual
drugs,
assault, Judge.
particularly Quaaludes. They did that a lot. I had a lot of female clients I had to get out of messes because they had a fondness for Quaaludes. It's not cool,
Yeah, but it's
I
okay
mean,
to take.
don't you bear any responsibility for this, especially if you keep going
No.
back?
So, Judge, let me. I want to lay this out plainly, just so, and I'll give you a chance to respond. I'll even give you the last word. If you give someone drugs and alcohol, even if they want to take the drugs and alcohol, if they get to a point where they are inebriated, where they are high or drunk, you cannot have sex with them. It is not sex; it becomes rape. And even by
That's
the legal
only the
standard that you're
law
saying
in
we should
certain
appeal to,
states. That's only the law in certain states. It's not for every state. And it goes into
You're
the
saying it's
same
rape in some states.
philosophy. It goes
Right, but
into the
let me finish
same
and then I'll
thing.
get the
I
last
didn't
word.
know I was going to get
Well,
that drunk, so it ain't my fault I got a DUI and kill somebody. How you think that's going to float?
Right, but the difference is
And
the
plus,
drunk
you
person has a
have people
responsibility to
on
not.
the East Coast who want a
The
new
drunk person has a
category of
responsibility
felony
not
rape.
to get into the
It's
car.
called rape
But
by
the drunk person
seduction.
does not have a
In other words, you
responsibility
take the
not to give
woman
the
out, and
responsibility.
you decide to
If
have
we're
a good
talking about
meal, linen, candlelight,
talking about
wine, dine.
responsibility,
You go for a walk in the park, my place or yours, get over there, kissy, kissy, poo, seduction, clothes come off. Everybody has a good time. This crowd wants that to be called
this isn't everybody
felony
isn't having a
rape
good
by
time. One person's
seduction.
being assaulted. Right, but what I'm saying, Judge, is,
Nobody,
and I got to
see,
run.
that's the point. He never admitted to what he did, was accused of, which is
How many people in your courtroom
unlawful.
admitted to what they did
All
that
he
were
did
guilty?
was they asked
Did you say
for it. I supplied it. They wanted it.
Okay, this
That's
is
like
just
put some
flat out rape at
candles
this
on and
point.
some incense when we do it. Let's go out and have
No,
a fine meal. Some Pinot Noir,
Giving some this is
Cabernet
disgusting.
Sauvignon
Giving
to
somebody
go with the prime rib and the lobster. And then we, after we leave the 5-star restaurant, we got a nice walk in the park.
this honestly is, with all due respect, is the most disturbing interview I've ever had in my life.
No, but see, you
that
are
we're-
into this thing where everybody's got to be protected. This society does not work when the society's obligation is to protect somebody from being stupid. You protect somebody's
No,
rights
to protect somebody from being
to
raped. But we got to
exercise
go,
their
Judge Joe Brown.
discretion
We can have a
appropriately,
conversation, but
but you
I
can't
got to run
protect
commercial
them
break.
from
I'm
themselves.
way past commercial
Just
break.
like you can't protect
I'm wi-
somebody from
I-
liability for killing someone in a fatal DUI because the bartender didn't stop
I got you,
serving them
Judge.
when they kept
Unfortunately,
asking.
Unfortunately, I got to run. We're way past commercial break. I know you understand that. Thank you for joining the show. Let us know what you're thinking. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at BNC News. Visit the website, bnc.tv.
Okay, so thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. So I think the main point of me showing that, which I know there were some points in there that we didn't really want to get into, but I do think that the judge had a great point at the end when he talked about society not being able to protect people from their own. This is my paraphrasing. Protect people from their own stupidity, and Lamont Hill. I'm not exactly a fan. I'm not a fan. So, but then I've seen him in action I've seen him do debates in other places. And I'm not sure if that's his, I'm not sure if that's his forte, because I've seen him set traps for people. He sets up the emotion and then he sets the trap. And then when it doesn't, he just defies logic. But then on this case, I just don't even see that he had a whole lot of respect for somebody that actually has legal expertise. And he's not going to just roll over to go along with he's not going to just agree to agree, or to to idle things down, if you will, for the lack of a better word. But thank you guys so much for humoring me and having a look at that. So I just want to say hello to a few people. Chris Gossi, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. And there's also Tyrant Spain, TDOA. How are you? Thanks so much for coming in. I'm just going to take a quick little infomercial, and then I will say salute and get you guys on your way. You guys are having a great Independence Day, and and celebrating however you want. So I'll be right back. This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Marcy T., Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming in on this segment of Black Spring with Auto. And as you can tell, I do kind of have a fan going on right now. It's a little bit warm in here, even for me. But thanks so much for tuning in. All right, guys, and let me just say hello to everybody in the stream. Kind of wanted to do some other commentary, but I think I'll save that for later because we're still, after all, we still are in the we're still in the holiday weekend, and I don't know, but I just wanted to say just briefly that it seems like we're always set up, or they always like set the stage for some type of division, and I think that was unfortunately the it's like a blockbuster every time, every year. So we had the Olympics. We've had at least two athletes from the Olympics. It looks like featured in this year's blockbuster of division. And yeah, I've even had somebody that I went to high school with say somebody actually asked him why was he celebrating Independence Day, and so all the times. So I just say hello to everybody in the stream. Thank you guys so much for spending, burning 40 minutes and 34 seconds of your holiday here with Black Spring with Autumn. So, and I'll start with Old School Wolf Media. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. It's always nice to see you. And Zero the Infinite's here. Thank you so much for coming in and supporting. Do I have anybody? Yes, I do have somebody on Twitch. Thank you for being there. Backyard Politics is here. Thank you, Backyard Politics. Hope you're having a great day. And John H. Roberts Jr. is here. Nick Smith is here. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. And Chris Gosi is here. And Tyrant Spain TDOA. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Tyrant Spain TDOA has been around for a while. Thank you for supporting the channel. And yeah, so Chris Gossi says, glad to be here. Thank you so much for coming in. So yeah, not a whole lot happening. I did have a small little flag because I bought like a ton of small ones like last year, the year before. But yeah, so I was gonna put it around so you could at least see it, but didn't do it. But I hope you guys are having a great day, or a great evening rather. And I'm just going to do one other. Oh my gosh, I think I got it wrong. But if I pronounce it again, I'm pretty sure it'll be wrong. Chris Gossi or Gosi says I pronounced it perfectly the first time. Okay. Well, thank you. I try to get things right where available. Or at least I try. Maybe give it 2 tries at least. So thanks so much for coming in. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I have. It's just that, I think when it comes to activism, I think most of these activists, their profiles, consistently consist of some level of victimhood. And they've also been, crowned or knighted, dare I say, as, social justice responders. We've got digital first responders. We've got digital railways being put up all over the world. So we've just got a lot of things going on, and it really makes for a different kind of Independence Day, different kind. And so yeah, so we'll see what happens. But I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. And I'm gonna do one more infomercial, and then we're out. Hey guys, it's Black Spring with Autumn here. And if you'd like to help us out with our AI and dissemination of the stream campaign, please hit that like, unlike, dare to throw caution to the wind by sharing, or just making sure that you're still subscribed to the channel. And I want to thank you for your ultimate and baseline level support here on Black Spring with Autumn. And we'll be right back right after this. All right, and once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I don't know, I'll see you guys around. Yeah, I'll see you guys around. We'll see what happens. I mean, we have one more day of observance for Independence Day, and it's going to go, like, for many cases, I think it's going to go through tomorrow. But as I'm wrapping up, I'm already segueing into something else that I thought was disturbing, but looks like for example, some of the, the editorials, like they're already comparing Juneteenth and Independence Day. So, I just, there's just the machine never stops, apparently. Hello, Gary Gage, how are you? Says, I just now jumped in, so I'll have to catch the upload. Yes. Well, I'm not sure how soon that's available anymore, because it used to take an extremely long time to get the uploads, and I'm not sure. So hope you can catch that. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys, see you around. I'm on a bit of a countdown myself around here, but of course, I hope to see you guys around on the next live stream, in the comment section on a video, the night queue, real unders, or I don't know. I kind of like the idea of the have you seen this, because sometimes, have you seen this can be a whole story, by itself. So I'll see you guys later, and have a great rest of your July 4th.